Welcome back everyone for a new weekly recap. And today, well, we are just going to go over what I've done this week, what happened, because a lot of good things happened, and a few understanding that I have going for this week. And I think this week we are going to see some big numbers. So let's get right into it. First of which, took I've managed to reach every single one of the goal that I had for this week. Actually, let's just put it that way. For I managed to, because see, last week was just reactivation week, and so I wanted to kind of do a sub max effort at the gym, so 150 on the squat, 110 and 190, just 97 95% of my max. And then this week I wanted to get back to my old max that I've done until now. So I managed. I done everything. So going this week, I am going to attempt 170. I would like 130 on the bench, but that's going to be hard. At least I'm going to try 125. See if that pass. And if that pass, I'm going to attempt 130. Not sure 130 is going to pass. I don't know. We need to see that. And 210 kg on the deadlift. Honestly, and this is pretty much the goal for the mesocycle. If I can reach those goals, that would be awesome. If I have to take a guess, I think that squat is going to be fine. Surprisingly enough, I think deadlift as well, because the 200 kg went not easily, but relatively smoothly, to be honest. It's just that I need to kind of, I've been so much focused on the upper part of my back that I forgot the middle part. And so I saw that on the 200 kg deadlift, when I did the edit, that actually I was rounding a little bit my back. I mean, that's not that big of an issue because the rounding kind of stay relatively the same throughout the whole lift. But nonetheless, I'd like to have a more pure form on the deadlift. Need to be careful with that. Just pay attention. But yeah, and on so that's and the only lift that I'm slightly worried about is bench, because that's a big jump. I don't know how much I'm going to do it, but this week I really try to kind of, first of all, the having a wider grip seems to be helping. Also, I really try on each and every rep to feel my feet driving into the ground as the first motion when I start lifting up. So once the bar is down, I really try to start that I'm starting to lift with my feet and then push with my arm. That's something that actually helped a lot. So I think, I don't know how well it's going to help me last week. But what is extremely important is I feel that the new way I'm doing things, just building up to one top set, is really working very well. It's just that now I need to see. If I fail those, it just means that just one top set at my max is not enough for me to create that overload that I need to be strong enough for those goals of this mesocycle. So what I'm going to do this week is, if that doesn't work, because I'm going to build up to my top set and attempt those. If I fail, then I will do back off set and do like I think 1 or 2 sets of 3x3 with 20 kg by removing 20 kg. So that will be no, not 20, 30. I mean, 20 compared to my last max. Just 140 on the squat, 100 on the bench, and 190 and 180 on the deadlift. That's a full plate. Just and just do a lot of reps with that to get my body more used to handling a lot of high weight, but higher reps, just to get more stimulus without getting too much fatigue. That's kind of what I want to see. But as far as I know, for now, at least, it seems that my body is adapting well to just that one top set. It's enough to create good stimulus for the next week, at least for the last 2 weeks. I don't know if that's going to continue for the next week. That's what I want to see. On the speed side, so let's get there. Really, really interesting. But as you saw, as the week went on, I was getting more and more tired because of the workouts. And so the average starting to drop a little. I started the week very strong with a full 117 average, then 116.5, 116.3, but you know, the goal for this week was 116 average for every single session. And we managed to do that and finish with a mind-boggling 116.6. But here's a bit, the goal is just to have this average here. 16.7 if you round up. Actually, why? No, 16.6. Why did I put 16.7? Okay, I need to change that. 16.6. So the goal is to have the average for the week above 116. So that's why I still have a little bit of buffer, because I haven't found one single station yet. Because what is probably going to happen as we move on to the year and get higher and higher target is maybe one of those sessions is going to fail. But as long as the average for the session is above, we are still good. That's what is important. Also, now I started to take a little more serious the speed stick, and you see that that actually worked. And that's what is funny, you see. Because in terms of raw speed, it seems that I was going faster and faster throughout the week. But in terms of strength, because the red stick is mainly about strength, well, this is the one that actually suffered the most. So that's very interesting to see that. So and here this is also my endurance, because of the fatigue. I'm less able to kind of be endurance. Also, I think there is some stuff going on with the fact that I start working on power, and working on power activate much more my type 2 muscle fibers, which are a lot less endurance. And so I felt very, very weak in, like, that's something I need to be careful of. And at the moment, that's okay. It's just that what I'm doing, speed training, is power endurance training. Let's face it. It's in golf, this is not just about being able to repeat one ball at full intensity, because the technique is so complex that you need to activate all your muscle fiber. You need your sequence to be right. You need a lot of things to be right in order for you to be able to produce maximum power. But to do that, you need to hit a lot of balls. So if you're not endurant, you will crash down before you can actually reach your max. And so that's why I start thinking that when I was doing the 1,000 reps workout at the beginning of the year, with limiting time constraints, so I was doing each exercise as powerfully and fast as possible in order to stay within that time constraint, might be the way to go actually in general to build power. It's just that I need to change the exercise, because that was more like at the beginning of the year, since I wanted to kind of cut and lose fat. I was targeting a little bit of every muscle and not really anything specific. Where here maybe the Olympic lift, the jump, the sprinting, maybe I need to do kind of a circuit of where I do all of them at once, with very limited time in between, like trying to find 10 exercises which are highly power oriented, and the same as I was doing before, doing my 10 rounds with limited rest. I do maybe not 10 rounds, I don't know, I need to see, but I do those power exercises, and I try to do as much run as possible, as fast as possible. And I think that's a way for me to both work on power and still build up that endurance necessary that I need to when I'm hitting balls. And also, when I hit balls, I need to really push through and get faster and faster, and get more reps. Here I was doing only 50, 50, 90, 90. I mean, I should be above 100 on every single session. The volume, the volume I was doing at the beginning of the year, much better here. So that, yeah, steadily rising. But here's the deal. I found something. I found something very, very, very interesting. Because like the pro at the golf asks me, I'm just going to tell you what led me to that understanding. The pro at the golf asked me to make an intervention, or at least talk in front of the youngs. I mean, they're not even teenagers. They're like in high school, something like that. 14, 15 years old, something like that. Yeah, not even, almost not even high school. Anyway, so because this is the physical trainer, so the because you have a kind of golf coach and a physical trainer in my golf, and so the physical trainer saw that I'm working on speed, and after speaking with him, I told him, yeah, actually, work in the gym helped me extremely. This is something that is extremely important for me in order to gain speed consistently. And so we were talking about that, and he asked me, "Oh, okay, do you mind just come and say that, and say all of what you just told me, and explain that to the young player, so they understand how important that is to be in good shape in order to hit ball long and for a long period of time." So I said, "You know what? Yeah, let's do it." And so, funny enough, so I went there, and I started hitting ball with my TrackMan. And what happened is, so I hit one like 270 meters carry. I'm going to talk meters because it's going to have a lot more sense just in a minute. So 270 meters, 281, 82, I think total. And so one of the kids saw that and told me, well, that's not 300 meters. Like as a joke, they wanted to kid with me. And so I look at him, and as a mature adult that I am, I said, "You want to see 300 meters? Okay, I'll do it." Yeah, it hurt my ego a little. So I said, "You want to see 300? I'm going to give you 300." And so I know that at the moment, with 116 and so on, my normal swing, I could have done. I can't do it yet. 300 meters. I mean, maybe if I catch one really, really well, might carry 280, 285, and with a roll. But I didn't want to give him the satisfaction of me trying and failing. So I went on to do what I like to call my long drive swing. Well, it's just I take the technique, I throw it out the window, I just take the club as far as possible and swing as hard as I possibly can. And it took me three attempts. But on the last one, I catch it dead center of the face. 122 club head speed, so way higher than what I was doing until now. And it carried 300 meters. That's what I was expecting. I was going for the total. But it carries 300 meters and went 316 meters total. So yeah, I was as shocked as them. To be honest, they was completely shocked. At the beginning, they thought they could kill with me, and then I think I make a pretty good point that I'm hitting the ball far. Anyway, that was a fun thing, but it got me thinking, because see, I want to be the best player that I can be, and this quote unquote long drive technique that I'm using it's part of it's like I'm training for speed, but I'm not giving my max. I'm not giving my best effort. So there is, as we go on with it's just that this is an option that is stick in my mind of, yeah, but you could do that. And so the question is, okay, retaining myself, not giving myself 100%, I mean, I'm trying to achieve something impossible, get to the PGI Tour and win. And actually, my real goal is win the Master. So I cannot hold back, and that's something that just keep getting back on my mind. And so I started to ask myself, okay. So why don't I want to do that? The only reason that I have in mind is when I do that technique, I kind of tend to have a very long backswing. And so I start thinking about it. Okay, but I know how to reduce my backswing. I need to create a lot more torque and resistance at the top. So, because this is not necessarily the length, it's just the way I feel at address. I take a slightly stronger grip, and so first of all, that's something I think I'm going to change because I have a limitation with my left wrist. I cannot bend it more than that, and more than that, it can start to hurt. And so I feel that probably through impact, I'm not able to build much lag or compress the ball well because of that limitation. And when I get kind of a neutral grip here, I think that subconsciously I feel some kind of weak because I'm too close to my max on my wrist. Well, on the opposite side, if I take a very so that's pretty much my wrist angle with neutral grip. But if I take kind of my strong grip when I want to do my long drive technique, generally I take what I call that strong grip, but the V here is just pointing down my right forearm. It's just that the left wrist is kind of much more bent here. That's just the only difference. And when I take that grip, I feel very, very strong. And so I started thinking, okay, so maybe that works. Maybe that's something I can do. I just need to, first of all, practice, because of course, if I don't practice it, because here's the deal, when I'm using that technique, I really feel that I can put the ball everywhere. And so that's also something, if I don't practice the technique, of course, I'm not going to get comfortable with it, and I'm not going to be able to be consistent with it. So practicing the technique is good. Then, this is about, okay, so if I do that in that way, it means that technique power is going to be less an issue for now. I think that if I make that jump with that technique, I'm going to easily get above the 117 average and even the 118 for this mesocycle. So that's great in a sense that, okay, that allows me to make sure that I'm hitting my goal for this week and next week. And we have a good mesocycle. Let's come back here. And we have a good mesocycle. So, but I need, okay, if I make that transition, I need to make sure that this is a swing that I can use on the golf course. And this is just the way, because here's the deal, I don't want to switch my technique between my long, what I feel like something to be my long drive swing and my normal swing. What I need to do is find, okay, I have my swing, and I have what I call my long drive swing. How do I find a way to merge those two so I get the power, the power that I need, that I have from the long drive swing, and the power and the consistency that I have with my normal swing? I need to find a way to merge those two together, that I don't have something that is vastly different, and get benefit from both. And I think this is where I need to go. This is a final version of myself, which is maybe going to go a little bit outside of Rory's, but actually after sipping on it and so on, I find some very interesting things that make me realize that, okay, maybe I'm actually going to get closer to Rory's swing, not the swing right now, but the initial things that I wanted, which was 2013 and 2014 swing of Rory, which was initially the swing that I wanted. So, because I mean, I'm going to explain that on the practice round because that's very difficult to explain all of that right now. But we're going to see that in detail. And so, if I'm able to, so what I would want this week, I'm still going to go for the speed, of course. I'm still going to validate the goal. But since I think I'm going to unlock some new speed, what I would want, I think, is work a little bit on the technique to make sure the only thing that I don't really want is kind of having my backswing getting too long. So I want to really, I have found the way. I know exactly what I need to do that, but I really want to work on that. The key thing that I want is shaft parallel to the ground at the top, left arm dead straight at the top, and um, and feeling strong throughout the whole swing, feeling that I can repeat as hard as I want. That's kind of the thing. And if I'm able to do both the technique and get the right feeling, I'm going to crush it. I think this week we are going to start seeing our first legit 120 and above. Because I've done some 120 here and there, but that was every time I was kind of trying to go for my long drive swing. Never like my baseline swing. But if now I'm merging those two together, I think we have a shot for first few 120s during the session, which will mean I'm going to validate easily this, and even I think if I'm able to get comfortable with that, keep hitting my strength goal, having this new technique in place, I think the 120 average for the session is actually doable because as I told you, I went on when I was with the kid and give my best. I actually did recorded 122.6, I believe, something like that. So that was high. I really wasn't expecting to go that high. So even if by merging those two together, I might lose a little bit of speed, and actually maybe not if I'm able to kind of work the technique well and be able to think everything the right way. Maybe not. I'm going to actually be able to generate those kind of speed. So if by the end of this meso, before I by the end of the second mesocycle, when we have this kind of 3-week rest period, we can get to that point where I'm able to swing a lot of 122, 123. That's going to be awesome. That's going to build so strong foundation for me to reach the final goal and go for the final push of the year. And so I think that's mainly the missing piece here. I need to find a way to give 100% of myself without retaining myself and without getting too long on the backswing and doing some weird stuff technically. And I need to find a way, okay, feel strong at that rest. And I think for me, it's not negotiable. Now I need to kind of get a strong grip at it because I have this wrist limitation. And maybe if I work on it over time, that's going to be great. But my subconscious is rating. I think that's so embedded in my pattern. That's something that is going to be difficult to change over time. At least it's going to take a very long time to change. And so I need to kind of get into a position where I feel I'm safe. I'm not going to hurt myself. And because this is that, when I have a grip that is slightly weak, what happens is I'm subconsciously fearing that I'm going to hurt myself. So change the grip, build stronger position, and work the technique so I don't get too long, get my left arm extended at the top, and I smash the ball on the way down. And I think we got some really, really interesting things coming up this week. So thanks for watching. I'll see you tomorrow. Bye.